Reptile Fight Club. We're back. What's up? I am Justin Julander, and with me, as always, Mr. Chuck Poland. What is
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, it wasn't really a planned break. We just kind of
it was like a complete.
slide.
Yeah, it was like a complete.
Sorry,
like, oh shit! It all fell on the floor, and we just were like, we're apparently too tired to clean it up. I don't know.
Just let the sleeping dogs lie, I guess.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. But it was good. It was good.
Good to have a little bit of a break, and glad we're back. Hopefully, remember how to do this thing, but. I don't know. What did your break entail? What have you been up
to? So, I mean, kind of most recent drama. I'm kind of recovering. I had a great 4th of July, and it pretty much entailed me just like laying around the pool, tanning. It was like the first weekend that was really nice in San Diego. So it was so awesome. And I think the last day I was at the pool, I was getting ready to get out of the pool, and I was like coming up, and I kind of I had my eyes open, and I saw the edge of the pool, and I was kind of reaching for it, and I closed my eyes, and I must have just barely missed the ledge of it and gone over the top, and I consequently came way close to the edge and smacked my face right there on the edge of the pool. And broke my tooth. Broke my front tooth, and but I didn't even no bloody nose, no fat lip. It was just literally
just a perfect tooth
perfect
chipper.
Stupid. Yep.
Wow.
So earlier this week I got Chippy the tooth fixed, so that was good. And
Nice.
then unfortunately, the hits didn't stop there. The next day after I chipped my tooth, I was literally leaning over my bed, and I coughed, and I felt my back pop. And I have a bulging disc in my back. I have probably a couple, but I totally coughed. I felt it pop, and then it hit the nerve, and I just went out. So I'm mending, Chippy the tooth is fixed, which is good. My back is on the mend. I was able to get into Muay Thai. I just sat in class on Monday because I was too scared to throw a kick.
Sure.
And then Wednesday, I'm pretty much back to it. I get it's weird, man. It's my back when this happens, it's either massive pain or just tightness. And when it's tightness, I can work through that, and I don't usually get pain unless I do something crazy. So it's I don't know. I think I need to do some core exercises, get my core up, and
those bulging disc. That's not fun. I haven't experienced myself, but
it's just complete. Those nerves in your back just take you right out.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I've kind of cricked my neck or whatever, where you're just looking over, and all of a sudden you can't move your neck, and it's it's fun getting old, right? It's a good time.
Yeah.
But I guess that would happen occasionally when I was younger, but I'd probably be over it in a day or two. But when you just turn your head weird, and all of a sudden you can't move anymore, and you're like, wait, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of an injury yesterday. I was feeding the snakes, and I wasn't paying I thought I was feeding an albino Darwin, and I thought his head was on the other side of the tank, and it wasn't. So I'm opening the thing, and I'm kind of reaching back or trying to grab a rat with the right hand, and my left hand's hanging out there in the wind, and all of a sudden he launches a full couple of feet out of it and just chomps me, So that was fun. I'm pretty sure there's a tooth or two in there that I haven't gotten out yet. But
they get
right
pretty,
on the knuckle, just that. So it's bruised and swollen.
And I assume it was a total not letting go, just horrible, not fun bite.
He didn't hold on too long. I mean, it was a feed response bite.
Yeah.
So he thought he was eating, and he's probably smelled the rats and all that good stuff. But I just not paying attention, just kind of
man, this happens.
When am I going to learn? I guess that's a good thing I don't keep venomous. You can't act so cavalierly when you're keeping venomous. But Anyway, that was my fun.
I mean, I've always felt like it's anytime I've ever lowered my guard that's when it's like, or I like trusted a snake. You know, I say, oh, that thing's that's never gonna bite me, and that's the one that usually is just like on a weird has a weird moment and just like bites me, you know, and it's like and it, you know, and then it won't do it again, or it might, but you know. Never trust
I blame
him.
myself, but yeah,
you have to. You have to.
He was just hungry, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and he got.
I mean, the snake's not going to take any responsibility there.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean.
He didn't apologize at all.
Hey, man, you smelled like food. Hey, you know,
it was warranted. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just held a paper towel in my hand while I let the blood.
Well, you bled profusely.
Exactly. It's amazing how much you can bleed from a snake bite. You know.
And it's so funny how bad the bite looks from the from the blood that's there, and it's really, I mean, you know, it's a bunch of pinpricks, but boy, it sure makes it look real messy and just you know but it's funny.
Yeah, I guess it's better than on the face.
That's fair.
Somebody was it Casey Cannon got bit in the face the other day. He posted on the chat or something, but that wouldn't be very fun either.
No,
I don't know that I've been bit on the face that I can remember.
So I have not been bit on the face, but I got bit in the back of the head.
Oh, that's right. I remember that story.
That shit hurt.
Oh yeah, that would not be
like funny. That. It bit me like that across the back of my head, like straight like
full
that.
Open mouth on. As far as it could reach on your head.
That's and that snake was easily 8 feet. Like it was like, it was a shitty bite. It was shitty.
That's crazy. Did he hold on or anything?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, held on for like maybe a second and a half and then let go. But it was like, you know, I would have never let the snake do that if I didn't totally trust it. And that was exactly what I'm talking about, is the time where you're like, no, I don't need to worry about what this snake's doing, because I just had it around my waist. I was cleaning the cage, and then I was going to get it off and put it back, and bam, just drilled me, man.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, herping's been pretty good in the last couple weeks. I started kind of that survey like a few minutes up the canyon from my work. So
your lunch survey,
lunch walks.
Nice.
I think it's gotten too hot to do the lunch walks, and I'm seeing far less snakes lately in the afternoon. So I'm gonna have to either go out before work or later in the evening. So I started road cruising another canyon that's closer to home, and it was a full moon night, so I was driving out there thinking, so Heidi was tired, so I'm like, if you're gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna run up the canyon and do some herping real quick, while you take a rest. And so she's like, okay, wake me up when you get back, we'll watch a show or something. So I went up just right as it was getting dark and hit the canyon, and it was full. I see the full moon, and I'm like, is this even going to be worth it? And so I start driving up the canyon. Then the clouds roll in and see the lightning and thunder and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this could be good. This could be interesting. And sure enough, like I start up the canyon, and there's a big old gopher snake in the road, and I go a little further. There's another good sized gopher snake, and so I bagged both of those. I was gonna just take some pictures the next day and release them after I photographed them. So I the first one was really feisty. Like it kept striking and trying to bite me and stuff. Like it was really ticked off. The second one was as calm as they typically are out here. The Great Basin gopher snakes are pretty relaxed,
pretty chill.
Yeah. So it was just like stretched out on the road. I just went down, picked it up, and then I go maybe, a quarter of a mile more, and there's a rubber boa, and like I get out to grab that one out of the road, and there's another one that I can see just up ahead, another rubber boa. So, and I would see rubber boas every once in a while. I've road cruised them before, but like 2 in one night, that was kind of rare. And then I went a little further, and then it started to rain. And then I was coming back down the canyon. There was a third rubber boa. But, after I found those first 4 snakes, there was a car right behind me that came speeding through, and it would have smashed all 4 of them. They were pretty, in the road, basically. So they probably wouldn't have lasted very long after. So I'm glad I got them out of the way. That was
for
nice.
Sure.
And then that 5th snake, the last rubber boa, was a smaller one, but it was on the side of the road, and it was coming down, and it was drinking on the side of the road, and I grabbed it without thinking, I grabbed it and picked it up, and I'm like, oh crap, I should have taken a picture of it drinking water off the road. That's kind of a cool observation. But anyway, so I got those 5 snakes in pretty much less than an hour. It was all pretty quick, and the road's not very long. It's pretty short, and it kind of dead ends, so it's nice. There's not a lot of traffic, just, maybe kids going up there to hang out or something. But, and then at the top of this canyon, there's a trail that goes up. So a couple days later, I went up the trail and like saw probably a half a dozen yellow-bellied racers and another rubber boa. Just like I went up the trail, and I'm like, I better get back. And so I turn around and come back just right where I was, a few seconds earlier, and there's a rubber boa on the side of the trail that I totally missed, just making its way up the side of the embankment. I guess herping's a lot of luck where you put your eyes and where so kind of, I don't know.
Things that move for you at the right time.
Exactly. And it wasn't moving. It was just sitting there. But, it's pretty obvious. It's kind of a light tan color or almost a...
It wasn't so obvious the first time, was it, Julian?
Exactly, yeah. I just didn't turn my head that way. I was looking on the other side of the trail or something, when I passed that point. So it's just where you see it. My neighbor told me he was running or jogging up there, and he saw a rattlesnake, and so I was like, I need to go see a rattlesnake, close to home or something. So I've seen 2 rattlesnakes this year, and one was just, they were both spectacular. One was like really light, kind of yellowish white with really bold, dark splotches,
Nice.
And then the other one it looked like kind of like a speckled rattlesnake. It was really light colored and kind of had a really cool pattern. So yeah, I was just on my lunch hike on the normal route, and one buzzed me, and I'm like, oh yeah, rattlesnake. Yeah. But they're so the Great Basins are so frustrating to photograph because they don't want to hold still. They just want to move out,
they just move off on you.
From you. Yeah.
They're not trying to defense. I mean, they'll rattle at you, but kind of as they're moving
they
off.
Don't rattle much either.
No?
They'll like do a little buzz if like the first encounter. The first one I found, that big one, the lighter colored one with the dark pattern, was on the trail, like in this thick undergrowth. I almost stepped on it, and it kind of hopped down the trail a little bit and just gave me a little bzz, not much at all. And then so I went down below it, and I kind of scared it back up because it's a little more clear at the top and less steep, of course. And then it went under this pipe, and so I'm following it, like crawling under the pipe. And I didn't realize the underside of the pipe, because I guess there's water flowing through it, so it gets condensate on it. And so the water runs down on the bottom of the pipe, and there's like dirt and stuff. And so I scraped like my belt of my pants on the mud, and so I have this green, disgusting mud in my belt that I didn't realize until I got back to work. And I'm working. I'm like, what is that? What is that in my belt? It's like all this gross mud. So yeah, it was kind of funny. But I got to the other side where it was climbing. I kind of posed it for some pictures and stuff like that. But yeah,
nice.
It's a nice looking snake. So,
yeah.
It was a fun deal all around. But I just love seeing those rattlesnakes. I'm hoping to see some more, and I think I need to start doing some night cruises. But man, that canyon by my work is so busy. Like you almost have to hike them there, just because if you find them on the road, they're more than likely dead. The gophers, I only saw a couple of gopher snakes, and they were pretty like in quick succession over a few days, and then I haven't seen any more up there in the same area. So I don't know if they're just, it's more dense. Like, man, it's so green up there just from all the water we've gotten, that it's just, the undergrowth is just everywhere, and
it's going to be crazy
all over.
It's going to be crazy because you guys are going to have melt off for a while.
Yeah. Shoot, Jake's out there yelling. I guess our cat got away.
Oh no.
He escaped out of our hairless cat, and then he just like, that's another fun little lame injury as I was chasing him, trying to catch him in the backyard, because he's hairless and he doesn't have his front claws, so he's like kind of vulnerable. We don't let him outside and stuff, and so he
I think
tries to get out
it's
all he
messed up
can.
that you make Jake go hairless like that.
I wish he's got this big beard like this, and
It's like Grizzly Adams, and the cat is
Julian-
like, "No, dude, you
Yeah.
gotta shave it."
Us Jewlanders are not beard growers.
We are
That doesn't
not
stop
beard
him,
growers,
you know?
man.
Yeah, I keep
These were
telling him,
not
dude,
rug peers, dude.
shave that thing, but he doesn't want to listen to mom and dad. But
Yeah.
anyway,
of
so
course.
I was chasing the cat and I stepped on some like thorny bush or something. Now my heel's all messed up. I can't walk right. But anyway, yeah, it's been really good herping season so far. I've probably seen close to 30 snakes now. It's been
Nice.
really good. Yeah,
Cool.
been a good spring, early summer. Such a mild summer. It's almost like we've had a real spring where it lasted a month or two. Everything's like behind, like gardens are a month late, and but yeah, it's green. Lots of growth up in northern Utah, so it's been pretty nice.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's about time I get to know the reptiles in my backyard. Yeah. Another big fun thing. I got invited to go speak in Australia, so I'm gonna head out to Australia again. So that
is on the East Coast or
New South Wales, kind of Sydney region.
cool.
The Hawkesbury.
What's
Herp
the
Society.
talk?
It's on knobtail geckos.
Nice.
So that should
Cool.
be fun. And then afterwards, I'm hooking up with old Peter Birch and
Peter Birch. That's what I figured. I figured.
yeah.
Figured that would
I'm
go
excited
down.
to see my old buddy. And gonna hit up Steve Crawford, and I'm hoping Chris Cupper can join us and go out for a little herping out and.
Where are you trying to go? Just on the East Coast, or
No. I'm not a big fan. I mean, I like some of the areas in the East Coast, but it's just so busy. There's so much.
I get it. I was just
development.
asking because it was close to where you were flying into, so I didn't figure you wanted to stay there. I know you better than that, Jewlander.
Yeah.
I know you.
Steve was nice enough to offer us a place to stay and a vehicle to take us in to go up.
Nice.
So we're thinking of hitting the Gammons and Flinders range as kind of a preview to the 2025 trip. See,
that's cool.
Kind of get a feel for the area.
Yeah.
Go see some stuff up there. Maybe I'm gonna go try to find a few more knobtail species up in South Australia. The starred or Nephrus stellatus and the Pernati lagoon, Nephrus stellini. Go try to find those too, just to get some photographs in the wild. But yeah, they're pretty cool looking geckos. But yeah, I'm excited to go herp in Australia again. It's been too long.
Yeah. And
I was talking to Steve, and he's like, yeah, because I really want to get back to Alice Springs area and go up to the center. And he's like, yeah, we could do that. It's a little bit more of a drive, but I'm like, yeah, it might be something.
He's not leery that you're going to drop him off a cliff and leave him there again, or?
This is Steve Crawford.
Steve.
Australia,
my bad.
Aussie Wildlife Show. But yeah, I wouldn't leave Steve Crawford. Just Steve Sharp. No.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, he is being awfully generous for you to leave him.
Steve trusts me to go herping with him again.
Yeah, no. I think you probably PTSD'd him a little bit there. Yeah. Oh well, he went along with it. Whatever.
Yeah, he lived.
Yeah.
But did you die?
But did you die?
But
did you die?
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody's really died yet.
Yeah. And man, things are hatching out, being born all over the place. So I'm gonna be busy again. I thought it was kind of a light year. I didn't have as many clutches, and
that's what you thought, huh?
So I talked about the heat spike on here and in the incubator, and so of course the black-headed clutch didn't fare too well. Like I got 3 to hatch out, which was encouraging, but then they hatched out and they had these like tiny eyes or no eyes, like. So I'm like, I guess the heat did affect them, because I was thinking, oh, they're hatching, or they made it this far, and then they start hatching, and then I was taking them out to the reptile room. I'm like, oh, their heads look different. Their heads look weird. Yeah, it's because their eyes are all weird. So now I don't know what to do with these things. Yeah, what do you do? But so that was kind of the first event that that was the first clutch that hatched, the first clutch that was laid. So I guess they hatched, so things are moving in the right direction. The incubation, other than that heat spike, went I guess according to plan, the changes that I made and the recommendations from some of my Aussie friends, mainly again Steve Crawford. But yeah, it was crazy. Unfortunately, they didn't get out of it unscathed. So
yeah.
And then lately, I had some Western stems hatch out, some nice little wheat belts, and then had some spotted pythons. No, some Eastern stems. I didn't get spotteds this year. I got 3 pygmies to hatch out. Unfortunately, that was a low hatch rate, and I'm not sure what happened there. I only got 3 out of like 12. I think maybe they got too wet. I probably added too much water, so I'll change.
They all went the distance or what?
Yeah, I mean they looked good.
They looked okay.
They just kicked off, but then the majority
Yeah.
looked great. They just didn't hatch out. So I've had that happen before with pygmies. So yeah, maybe I need a bigger incubation chamber or drier substrate. I think that's probably the problem I'm having here. They got too wet.
I mean, after incubating the Tracier at about 85, that's what I incubate pretty much everything at now, and everything comes out fine for me. 85, 86, it fluctuates, but I think, the idea that maybe we keep things too hot, too wet, it's just like it's a repeating theme where you see it in different places, and you're like, we definitely probably do. So
it's true. I think we're impatient. We want them to get out as soon as they can, But yeah, you're right. It's kind of on the danger zone because if it goes a little bit hotter, that can potentially result in issues. I don't know. I guess you'd think after a while I'd stop messing up, but no. I
mean, I still mess up. What are you talking about? Like everybody messes up, man. It's not like that.
Yeah, it's weird because I got 100% hatch rate from the wheat belts. They all look great, and they were set up essentially the same as the pygmies. They overlap in range, so you would think that they would have similar requirements. I guess the wheat belts are a little further south, so maybe they're a little, I don't know, different conditions, but they do occur in the same areas as the pygmies. So I don't know why 100% hatch rate with one and pretty low hatch rate, maybe 30% with the others. So
I don't think you should spend all of your energy trying to figure that out, because
that's the fun part, right?
I just don't think you'll ever get the answer. Not truly, you know what I mean? You can sit there and be like, well, I think it was this, and I'll try this, and if it works, you're like, yeah, I was right, but were you? Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like to me, it is kind of like, hey, it's going to happen. What's going to happen? Like you said, you keep them both similar and you had a very different outcome. So clearly there's detail you're not kind of catching or that they're not showing, or that's not not really detectable. So
one of those fun mysteries, I guess.
Those fun mysteries of life.
I got some Egernia hosmeri.
I saw that. Congratulations. That's awesome.
That was
dude.
exciting to see.
I know you're psyched for that.
They're pretty little babies, but I left them in with the parents because I thought, that's those Egernia. A lot of the Egernia species are kind of have some parental care, and but
they're at least tolerant, if not nurturing.
They in some instances will help the offspring and stuff. And I've even seen photos in the wild of family groups or like young and old animals kind of hanging out together and stuff. So I left them in with the parents, and then a few days later, I noticed they just weren't thriving, and so I took them out and soaked them in water and helped them shed out because they had kind of a stuck shed type thing going, and so I'm like, I gotta pay a little better attention. So I separated them out and put them in a cage next to the parents' cage, so at least they can kind of have some visual contact or see each other or something. I don't know if that'll
help. Man, And granted, it's different, but stuff that geckos that I've had that were supposed to be communal geckos, some of them tolerate it, some of them absolutely do not. You know what I mean? So I the idea of I think, even babies that and adults together in that situation, stress can happen, and then they could not drink, and then they could get easily dehydrated, and you know what I mean. Like, so it's like I could totally see how something like that could happen, and even in like a not, but like at the same time in the wild, that like I don't, how is that any different?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they don't have the great conditions in the cage that they probably get in the wild, and
yeah,
I don't know. I've been thinking.
I guess they could seek it, and
I was listening to, I can't remember, maybe Rob was talking about it on a podcast. Rob Stone, old Bobby Pebbles, and he was talking about the Chameleon Lovers podcast, or Chameleon. Is it Chameleon Lovers? That sounds weird.
It does sound weird.
Anyway,
but I think it's just the way you're saying it.
Chameleon Lovers.
That's it. That makes it weird. That made it really, really weird. That was it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No. Okay. No. Anyway. We do not need a new offshoot podcast like that. That is not how we do this in this business around here, buddy.
But it was talking. It was Peter Nackis, and he was talking about, I think that's how you pronounce his name, talking about fogging reptiles, because he'd like observed pretty much all behaviors in chameleons in the wild except for drinking. And so he's like, why haven't I seen a chameleon drink? That seems to be one thing that they should do, most commonly. He's seen them eat, he's seen them mate, he's seen them lay eggs, he's seen all sorts of stuff. So he's like, why don't I see him drink? And so then he got some wild chameleons, and just before sundown, he weighed them. And then he went, he kind of watched them, checked on them every couple hours, and they just slept all night in the same spot. And he weighed them in the morning, and they had gained the substantial amount of weight in the night. And he had, the only thing he could really attribute that to is the mist or the fog that would come in over, during the night, and that the chameleons were breathing in this moist air and getting their moisture from the air. Like, what a cool, observation. And, he also found a correlation with chameleon distribution in areas that had that kind of water system, fog cycle, whatever you want to call it, roll in. So pretty mind-blowing, fascinating stuff, that chameleons probably don't drink in the wild, and they probably get all their moisture from fog, and that keeping them in captivity and giving them a water bowl or spraying them down or whatever, probably freaks them out first, and then it's not the best way to hydrate them, and so they're probably not living their best life because of it. So I think, what a revolutionary concept to figure that out and to implement, help implement that or get that implemented in captivity, and recommending different foggers that reptile keepers can use. And you wonder how many, and we've talked about this on here before, how many desert reptiles actually thrive on that kind of dew point, or the Ron St. Pierre concept of the animals coming out when the dew point hits and when that moisture in the air occurs, and so how much of their moisture are they getting that way rather than the others. So I don't know. It might be worthwhile to set up a fogger on all my desert lizard enclosures and see if that makes a difference or something.
You just how would you? It'd be interesting because in the desert, a fogger is kind of not a natural, like fogging a desert animal is kind of, but you'd almost need it would be hard because you'd almost want to. To really do a mimic, you need to literally condensate water and bring it, back down into dew, to really do it right.
The idea, I guess, is, they're not it's not the same thing as the chameleons are experiencing, because, but can you do the same? Can you get the same result? You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're not breathing in the moist air, but the dew is settling on them while they sleep, or somehow if they're in a bush or something, or in a rock crack, and then they get that water on their skin, and some of these lizards have the channels up to their mouth, and I don't know, it's just kind of making me think a little bit, but but yeah, I mean, I've woken up backpacking in the desert, and the top of the sleeping bag's got dew all over it. You know, you wake up kind of wet. The whole sleeping bag's wet, and you're like, wait, I'm in the desert. Why is it wet here?
Why is it wet? Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they wake up the same way. Why I'm all wet, and they lick it off, or I don't know if they're soaking it in subcutaneously or what, but something's going on in the desert. You know,
something's definitely going on in the desert.
They're not just waiting for the rain to drink. You know, there's other methods. So
yeah,
I thought that was kind of something that's got me thinking. But yeah, how to implement that's another question. And you know, these animals seem to do all right, you know, with the water bowl, but are they living their best life? I guess that's the question. Could they be better with another method? So
I think you have a strong suspicion that they may not be living their
know,
best life.
It's due to great minds like Grand St. Pierre and Peter Nicholas.
That's facts.
So
that's facts.
The only reason I'm thinking about these things. So yeah, but yeah, good things happening. My Depressa female looks pretty good sized as well, so I'm hoping maybe she'll have a little offspring or two in there as well. So we'll see what happens. But
sweet.
I think I struck out on the western blue tongues. I was hopeful there; they were looking pretty good, but then
not this year.
And the northern blue tongues, one of the females gave birth, and then another one's about to pop as well. So yeah, thinking about moving out the blue tongues kind of wholesale as a group early on, so when they're small and cute and stuff,
just get them
out the door quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
not a bad idea.
Yeah, I hold on to them too long. I'm terrible at ads, and so might as well. Yeah, so
preaching to the choir, bro.
10 lot of blue tongues, hit me up.
Yeah. 10 lots of blue tongues. That's very crispy off of you.
I mean, yeah, the first litter was maybe 12, 13 animals.
Yeah.
So a few of them.
Nice.
The second one, we'll see. She's pretty big. But yeah, they're cool. Cool lizards for sure. Really nice looking. But we'll see. And then I looked in the incubator today, and I've got inlands hatching. So that's
Jesus.
That's always good. That's
good Lord, man.
Much anticipated clutch, of course. The inlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones from last year are looking fantastic. They're so
cool.
They're such cool snakes. And yeah, but those were the only carpets I got this year. So I don't know what I'm missing here, but what do you do?
Potentially nothing.
Yeah, just it's the way it goes.
Yeah, don't talk to me. I'm already thrown my own pity party for myself with this Tracy and stuff, so I'm over it.
Man, was it Shane that got the clutch of Tracy? And he's expecting another clutch?
I don't know. I haven't
clutches or something?
I don't know. I haven't. I don't know if there was two. I saw what he messaged me about one. Yeah. And I knew about that.
I had another female that was going to lay soon.
So. Maybe. I haven't been paying much attention, to be honest, to the internet.
Social,
so
the
socials. Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
I've been hiding in my anger hole.
Yeah. Well, that's. I'm sorry you missed those guys this year.
It sucks, man.
I don't know. It's such a hard question. You go back to what was working.
Exactly. That's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at now. Is like, do I? Because I have all the cages. I have all the small cages.
Yeah.
And now the question is, even if it sets them back, is putting them into smaller cages where they're gonna be, used to it. It's a known successful thing for me. Like, is that going to cut the time rather than trying to get them to be in bigger cages where they're always going to feel less secure and try to see how long that takes to work? Like, I don't know which is going to be easier to do. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever.
Messes with your mind.
And I mean, and I hate to say it because they're pretty good size. They're good size animals. Not that, but when all those cages are together, they have tons of room to move vertically, and so it's not like
they're cramped.
I wouldn't say in those cages there's that much more space in the cages they have because they're kind of sharing two cages plus a third. Smaller cage. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just like I'm just kind of like.
Good thing it's just a hobby, right?
Yeah, no, and you know, God forbid if I had to have an ego, right, about this stuff, and oh my
Exactly.
God, like I
That would
wouldn't be able to
rough.
show my face or talk publicly. I'd be like embarrassed, you know.
No, I don't think that's the case, but
No,
you
it's
still
not.
you still did it, so it's
Oh, I did.
better than most.
I'm just trying to do it again.
So.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Come on, guys, let's get it together. But that said, all my other animals are doing great. Like, you know, everything is doing fine. I'm right on track with everything else. It was just, exactly. I would have liked to have hit diamonds this year. I don't think that's gonna happen based on some of the conversations I've had with people. I talked to Jordan about his and kind of when his went, and I kind of thought maybe if I got mine out and they were out over the winter, they may not. I don't know. I thought maybe I would have time in the spring to kind of feed them and then they'd breed out, and we'll see if that happens, but I doubt it. I bet his sound like they were pretty much on the same calendar cycle as my outdoor coastals. So that's pretty traditional. So,
but you did get eggs from them, right?
Yes. Yeah. Like 15 eggs, something like that. So
Are they cooking now? Or?
No, they're done. They hatched.
Oh, they hatched.
Yep, they hatched everything. 100%. I mean, 100% everything across the board with those. So that's cool. Solid, man. Super solid. Second year in a row outside. 100%. You know, laid 100%, hatched 100%. Like it's pretty good. I'm just leaving them alone because last time I complained so much about how frustrated I was trying to get him feeding. I'm like, I'll just wait and let him
until they're hungry.
Yeah.
Did you let the female incubate, or did you incubate?
No, I took them. I took them. Yeah.
I guess that's a little bit of a risk.
Yeah, and I took them because she's 2 years in a row, and I don't want her to sit any. I don't want her to incubate and not get food or not. And then with it being both of them, I have to pull one of them out, so it's pulling the male out and then feeding the female, and it's just like I'd rather just kind of pull the eggs, separate them, feed them, put them back together, leave it alone. And if she had a problem, I'd have to pull them anyway. And I'm not the maternal guy. I'm just not. I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah, that's.
And I probably could incubate him in that cage because the wire mesh is real like 1/4 inch, but the diamonds have like the 1/2 inch because of the size that I needed. It didn't come in 1/4 inch, so I probably wouldn't let those diamonds go maternal in that cage just because I think a baby could get out.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the best thing to have.
No fun when you hatch them out. Yes, I maternally hatched all my snakes, and they're gone, and there's not a single one in there. That would be the worst. Oh my God.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the best.
At least you got to see the results of your mistake.
Yeah.
You would never see the result of that mistake ever again. Well, you might. I don't know. Yeah. Your neighbors start freaking out about juvenile diamond pythons that have been feeding on.
There's black snakes everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, yes! I'll be right over.
Then they get established, and you got a feral colony of diamond pythons in your neighborhood.
As ecologically not cool as that would be to have happen, I totally would be cool with that. So, well,
I guess
is that
it. Should we fight?
Yeah.
We leave a little time for fight.
Did we come here to do that? Okay. All right. Then I suppose we should
as well. We'll keep it going, but
keep it.
So I was thinking, as I've been herping lately, the difference between hiking up something, the excitement of hiking something up on a trail or in the wild versus road cruising it. Is there any benefit to either or? Is it the same to road cruise it as it is to hike it up in the environment? And if there's an argument to be made that one could be better than the other, or if they're it is what it is, and it's just good to see the animal in the wild. So thought we could discuss that topic for the last few minutes of our recording here. And
okay.
So, all right, well, let's give the old coin a toss. I got to dust it off a little.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Whoa. That was a
wow. That was aggressive. Tails. That was aggressive tails.
It is a heads. You didn't see the high of the top of the arc,
that's the problem is you're not flipping it off of the screen so that I cannot properly predict the call.
You've got my my technique.
Yes. Your modus operandi.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pick I'm gonna pick the road cruising side.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can take the other side.
No, you take whatever side you want.
I love hiking something up. I'm kind of taking the opposite side just to kind of think it through and see if I can come up with something on the other side. Because I would prefer to hike something up. I love seeing.
No.
Oh wow. So I picked the wrong side. Well, this will be interesting then. Yeah. Now you're gonna have to think about why you like.
I don't.
The hiking.
I don't. It's hot and I'm tired and.
Oh man!
Your dickhead friend goes off running after a snake and leaves you in the dust. I'm sorry, dickhead. I say it right. I say it right. But no. Right. Okay, so I'm a loser and I get to like to hike. Okay. And I have to go first.
If you want to, I'll go first. I don't mind. Yeah.
I'm a loser and I like to hike for snakes because, I mean, let's just face it. It's really kind of part of an experience, right? If you're out and you're herping, it's not just going out and looking for reptiles. It's getting into nature and communing with nature and the landscape and the habitat and, and then incorporating and trying to incorporate the animal into that experience in finding it. So, really for me, it's about mental stimulation of my environment, the landscape, and then having to think through natural history of where they might be, having to make decisions about which places to go. And so to me, it's much more mentally stimulating and satisfying to be out hiking for reptiles than it is just to kind of sit in a car, where maybe the conversation is as good and all other things are as good. I just don't think, if we could talk about my soul being filled up, I don't think that road cruising fills my soul quite like hiking and finding a target species. That's how I lead.
Yeah, no, that's a very compelling argument because I do definitely agree with that. And
do you think I'm representing your side well here? Your side.
Yeah, and I agree that that's one of the best parts is seeing all aspects of their habitat, their nature, what they're experiencing, and kind of the conditions. Now, you have to know the natural history to get out there at the right time and to be able to see them in the wild, because a lot of times they're hidden or not out in the open, to be able to be found, or they're only active in the early morning and the late afternoon, that kind of thing. So, as long as you know what you're doing, I like Rob Stone's herp trips because he usually throws in a hike in the middle, between herping. So, you might see stuff on the hikes, and he's planning the hikes in areas where you could see stuff. But if you don't see any animals, at least you see a beautiful landscape or, some kind of cool art.
I mean, it's kind of that fishing mentality, right? You go out fishing wanting to catch a fish, but expecting to just not catch a fish and still find a way to, enjoy just being out in nature, on the boat, on the water, that kind of thing, or, on the pier casting out, whatever, what I mean? So it's some of it's not about the end thing. It's about the, the beauty of the process.
Yeah. So, with that out of the way, I do think, you hit on one point that I really think road cruising is amenable to is good conversations, because a lot, most of the time it's usually just the people in the front seat that can kind of have a clear view of the road. And, if you're in the back, you're kind of trying to look out the cracks or trying to see, and it's not the most effective a lot of times. And so usually you kind of can relax and kind of rest your eyes or whatever and just have a good conversation. So, if you've got more than two people in the car, it's usually a good time to bring up some fun topics and to have a really good conversation. And some of my favorite Fight Club episodes have been when we record in the car, while we're herping. That's been kind of fun to do. So the other aspect is you're pretty comfortable. You can crank the AC or whatever and be in a nice climate controlled environment and in a comfortable chair, as long as the rental is big enough, and you can have a nice comfortable ride looking for snakes. And it's pretty straightforward. You either see them on the road or you don't. And so,
I mean, I would say you would almost want to be that comfortable if you're pretty much putting your chances of finding something to luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So, and obviously on a hike, you're sweating, you're getting dirty, that kind of stuff. But
no pain, no gain.
Get your shoes wet, things like that. So that doesn't necessarily happen in the car. So
yeah, but you also get your cardio up.
Sure,
you also get your steps in, and
again, I like that aspect a lot more. But
a little heat, and a little stress on the human body, if managed properly, has been scientifically shown to be good for you. So
definitely.
I mean, I think
I don't shy away from that for sure.
Yeah.
And
I know you don't.
On the Utah trip, I think we hiked over 50 miles or close to 50 miles or something. So it was a lot out there. But
no, you don't shy away from it. You run away. You're like, Justin, wait up. Like he's just gone. And then Rob never stops. Rob's like,
and that, I guess
he's like the fastest dude who doesn't look like he's that fast.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a couple mindsets of kind of hiking a trail looking for reptiles. Is you go quickly and you might kind of startle them. They're hanging out on the trail basking or something, and then
it's a good strategy.
They don't see you coming, but also the slow way has maybe some benefits that way too. So you can have a few people kind of go quick, but then that disrupts the conversation. You're not having the best conversation because it's probably better to kind of spread out, cover more ground. You're going to see more stuff. If you're talking loud and having a raucous conversation, you're going to scare away other wildlife that you might otherwise see. So there are some benefits to road cruising where it doesn't matter how loud you're talking, because you're moving along in at 30, 40 miles an hour. You're not going to really scare anything. You're going to see it on the road pretty straightforwardly. So that's I guess what I'd counter with is the comfort aspect, the conversation aspect. I think that could probably be in the win column for road cruising.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's road cruising is kind of a tribal knowledge kind of thing, areas to road cruise. Whereas I think, now we kind of have stuff like iNaturalist and what was the other one? The one that is like Aussies use a lot.
I don't know if they use it, but it's ALA, Atlas of Living Australia.
I thought that was another one.
Oh,
anyway.
So yeah.
Anyway, you have these tools where you can kind of geotag stuff. So it gives somebody who would hike into it or hike it, a resource to say, okay, here's a known, here's an area of focus. And it kind of gives them something to kind of pull on. And sometimes I think, obviously when we cruise with Jordan, dude, he knew right where the road stopped and started, where you would find this, and this, and this. And so, seems like you can reliably know the things. But again, he's been cruising it for that long. And
he probably knew the habitat types and, had also hiked stuff or gotten out into the hills as well, Is
that your summation or did
well,
you
I
say
mean,
that
I think
directly?
that's part of it. I don't
Okay.
know that it's
All
just
right.
from road cruising. I guess that's one of the, well, I won't give you a point here, but so keep going.
Okay.
No.
So
No,
there's
I'll
that.
give you a point. I'll give you a point. I'll say it because
Aw,
when
thanks.
you're road cruising at night, you're not seeing the habitat. You're seeing the road in
Right.
front of you, you know. So it kind of lame that way. So, yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, I think from a standpoint of like we saw stuff on the way out to Ocotillo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just like even just traveling to somewhere, if you hit it at the right time where stuff's on the move, you have a chance of seeing it, like even in areas where it's not known,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, I think, you have decent odds and there's some benefits to, road cruising for like the easy, obviously like, okay, I wouldn't go hike out in the middle of the night to try to go find stuff, but I'd road cruise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be out there.
Oh, that's the
well,
best.
I mean,
night hiking.
I mean,
that's fun to get out there at night. Well, and it depends on where you are. Like when we were in West Texas, it was like 130 on the in the day. It was really hot. Like the surface temperature was like 160, 180 something. It was ridiculous. I thought my shoes were gonna melt off my feet. But then hiking at night, I mean, it still didn't get it dipped below 100 like around midnight. So I think if you're herping West Texas, you might as well be nocturnal for your herp trip and just sleep during the day in an air conditioned hotel room, and then get out at night and hike or road cruise or whatever. I don't know if you can really road cruise in Texas, though. I think that's illegal. But I guess depending on where you are, you might not even be able to road cruise. It's technically illegal to road cruise in Texas. You're supposed to park your car and walk along the road and look at cuts and things like that. So
West Texas, point for me. Thank you.
there you go. Yeah. And there's some really nice habitat and hikes out there. So, but that night hike that we did in West Texas was cool. We saw, a few cool
See, but I guess that's my point is like, like in road cruising, you can just drive on the road at night, right?
Yeah.
But like at night, if you need a targeted hike, like you're not just hiking off out somewhere. It's not this, like if you're randomly driving a road versus like, oh, I'm just going to go hike up into this. Oh, let's go right here and let's go up and let's go look. To me, that's treacherous. If you don't have, a pathway or something, if you're flashlights in the middle of the night, like there's areas of Anza that would be horrible to try and hike through, untrailed or like, So it would have to be like a trailed hike in the middle of the night, like you did, I guess is what I'm saying, for the condition. But I don't disagree as long as it's like that. But like, I mean, just hiking out would be,
you could potentially get in some sketchy situations if you're hiking because you're not seeing stuff coming up and also depending on where you are, there could be like big cats or mountain lions stalking you behind or something. So you gotta be
cars on the freeway as you're crossing.
Well, if you're road cruising, like that's dangerous because there's fast moving vehicles on the road for sure. Yeah.
Or if you stop to go get out of your car to hike somewhere. So you either road cruise or you hike, but you don't road cruise on or hike on the road cruising spot.
Yeah,
I think that's what we learned.
That's a good lesson to learn.
That was
the easy way.
You
don't want to learn that lesson the hard way.
No,
we lucked out there. But so yeah.
But did you die?
I think another nice thing about road cruising is you can see a pretty big peacock. You can see a pretty big diversity through the habitat, so you can cover some ground, right? You can cover quite a bit of ground while you're road cruising and see different habitats.
Hey! I'm recording over here.
Come on, Ruby. Come You can see different areas, get to different places, in the same evening and see different species and cover a lot of ground, cover over different habitats, So as long as you kind of know what the terrain you're in looks like or what species you're going to find there, you can kind of plan to road cruise some areas. Now, unfortunately, a lot of road cruising spots have become really popular, I guess for better or worse. I guess if you're out there and you meet up with people and meet new people that are interested in the same things you are, that's kind of a cool thing. So yeah, sometimes you'll roll up and you're like, the only thing they're doing is road cruising, and they're looking for herps, and so you stop and you chat with them. Oh, what have you seen? And I think who's the pilot YouTuber guy that does that? They had him on NPR a little while back. I can't remember his name. He's from Southern California. He's your neighbor, dude. But anyway, he does those videos where he's out. He'll do a little road cruising in Southern California, and he's always meeting up with new people and getting
Hassan.
No, he does a YouTube channel where he's.
Oh, I don't listen. You're talking to the wrong fucking guy about YouTube channels and fucking social media. I don't participate. When are you gonna figure this out?
Anyway,
sorry.
I'm just. It's just my name blanking.
I know, and I'm not being a good co-host right now. I'm sorry. You're right. That was not nice.
But
Chuck.
I'm sure I can look him up. But anyway, the thing is, he's out there meeting new people that are also interested in road cruising. You can kind of increase your findings too, because other people might have stumbled upon it, and then you see them stop. They're out photographing the snake. You can get out and take your turn photographing the snake as well. So there's another benefit of, I guess, crowded roads also mean increased detection. So that could be a benefit of road cruising over hiking. I guess people on the trail, we hiked up behind a group of, they were collecting everything in sight, so it was kind of lame, but they also were looking for stuff. They had a whip snake that they'd found, and so we got to photograph that, and we probably wouldn't have seen it because they were in front of us, that kind of thing. So anyway, so there are benefits of spots that are a little more busy than you'd maybe like them to. I mean,
don't forget the guy that we met on the Palm Canyon hike, who you hooked up with, and we met up with later when we were road cruising, and he showed us snakes that he got, and then you guys spent like about 40 minutes talking and trading pictures of snakes. You do not remember this? Oh, that's convenient that you don't remember this.
No, I do remember
when it's my turn to talk about the hike part of this.
No, I do.
Remember this guy? He was like a doctor or something weird, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
he was kind of an older guy.
Yeah, older guy. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And he wasn't that in the know though, right?
No, he wasn't that in the know.
Like a little.
He would tell you, but then kind of ask you, right? Wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Like we
met him on the Palm Canyon hike, right?
Yeah.
Yep. He was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy.
I was like, I don't think we're gonna meet up later with you, but yeah, we did. We did end up seeing him, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Shared pictures at least, but yeah. Nice guy. But yeah, I mean, I
what did he have? He had like a glossy snake or something. What was that?
Yeah, it was a glossy.
Was a glossy?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and that was kind of cool because we got I saw a behavior that I hadn't seen before.
Oh,
that was like it was it was crawling underneath the loose gravel or whatever.
Yeah,
almost like tremors or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's those benefits of meeting people. I mean, not that you. Oh, Lou Boyer. Gosh dang. There we go. The pilot that herps in Southern California and in Southeast Asia and stuff. He flies all the time to Southeast Asia. So anyway, he's pretty cool guy. Like, seems like he'd be fun to herp with. But anyway, he's filmed some really cool stuff. King cobras and palm vipers and stuff in the wild. So I think he just went to Costa Rica and posted a video on Costa Rica. So it's pretty cool.
Cool.
But anyway, meeting up with new people, meeting people. I met, I don't know why I brought this up, because of course I can't remember the names at the top of my head. I was talking to Rob about this guy the other day, and dang it, it's Jeremy. I think his son was named Jeremy, and then his son's like a really good photographer, and then what's his name? Anyway, met up with those guys in southern Arizona. I was road cruising. I was waiting for the guys to fly in. I was going to go pick them up at the airport, and so I spent the night on a hillside with a road that was supposed to be a good spot for certain reptiles, and actually where we found those green rats. And so I met that guy there, and he was out there looking for green rats that one evening. So I met him and his son, and then when we went back there and found a couple of green rats. So found one, and then Dustin found another the next day.
One.
But yeah. So I don't know. I met him, and then friended him on Facebook, and then he gave me a few suggestions for places to look for different stuff, and some good places to road cruise or whatever in southern. Like, he was really nice about sharing spots, so it was kind of cool.
So what you're saying is sometimes you got to get out of your car and meet people.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing in most cases.
No, it's not. It's not. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Anyway, I think so. But I guess that's kind of a draw, because you can do that either or. On the Utah trip, we were hiking up a canyon, and we met some canyoneers that were coming down. They had rappelled down part of the canyon, so we couldn't go up further, but they came down and passed us, and I just stopped and talked to them, and they're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing here?" "Well, we're looking for snakes." They're like, "Oh, I'm not really into snakes, but there's this spot where we see snakes all the time. There must be a den there, because every time I go there in the spring or the fall, there's like 10 snakes hanging out, these rattlesnakes there." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Give me the precise location. He told me, he didn't care to share the spot, because he's like, he's like, it's well known in the climbing community and stuff. So I'm like, okay. He's like, and I checked out a few websites on that climb site, and there were like several of them that were like, "Be careful of the snakes. They're right here. they're right at the start of the climb." And all that stuff. So just keep an eye out.
That's
They
cool.
were all pretty cool about them. Like, they were like, "Oh, I killed a bunch of snakes." They were like, "Be careful, be cautious. Keep your eyes open for the snakes." Like, we were going to go do this climb, but there were the snakes there, so we left. We didn't want to disturb them. So, pretty cool. So you meet people like that. And, of course, I don't remember their name or anything, but they gave me some really good intel, and I'm planning on, getting back over and seeing some of that, and trying to find that spot in the future. So it's cool to meet people. So let's see, I'm Steve Tippett was the guy that
nice
Arizona.
There you go.
Steve, and his son was Jeremy. So I guess his anyway, they go out all the time and find some really cool stuff. So they're great father-son duo, herping duo. So anyway, you meet really cool people out. I guess either if you're road cruising, which I met those guys road cruising, or if you're hiking, and I've met plenty of cool people hiking. And I was hiking up this local canyon by my house the other day, and I met some people that they thought they knew me. They thought I was somebody else, and I didn't really disabuse them of that. Like, I just pretend like, yeah, great to see you guys, because I thought it was gonna be a short, like, "Hey, how's it going?" and then I'd pass along or something, and they're like, "Oh, what you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm looking for snakes. So I'm doing this and photographing them and stuff." And they're like, "Oh," they start telling me about all the snakes they found on their hikes and stuff. Like, it was pretty cool. And they're like, "Oh, you'll have to say hi to Matt for us, and we haven't seen you and him for a long time. Are you doing construction?" I'm like, no, I'm not involved. Like,
totally out of the construction business these days. Haven't done it in a while now.
The guy that he thought I was probably was down there doing the construction, but I thought it was pretty funny. So I must have one of those faces, but they thought I was somebody else. So, and they didn't like realize it either. Like, they just kept saying, "Well, it's great to see you. We'll see you at the next gathering." I'm like, "Sounds good." They're gonna have an awkward conversation.
Side all around around the greater Utah area.
Exactly.
There's somebody who looks just like you running around on the construction site. Because if you fooled him that good, man, he must look a lot like you.
Yeah. But, and a few of the people that I was just kind of like, I'd pass them on the trail and go, have you seen any snakes? And they're like, oh yeah, I saw a rubber boa back, at this spot, or I saw a garter snake over here. And so, oh, thank you.
Do those work out for you? It seems like every time we've done those, sometimes they never work out.
But yeah, usually the snake has moved on, or they've scared it away or something, or it's gone down a hole. And, that's fine. But sometimes it does work, you never know. So at least they're in the area and you can come back and look for them or something. But so I don't know. I'm a fan of chatting with people. I know some people kind of like to keep to themselves, but and I'm always trying to find people locally that maybe want to go out herping or something. If they're, that's how I met Chris and Aspen. It was like kind of inviting myself on their herp trip, and
that's how you do it, man. That's how you get in.
It works sometimes, I guess, but and. So it's been fun to be out.
It's all about secret knocks and self invites.
Yeah, and I think road cruising has sometimes the advantage of you're able to find more stuff quickly, right? You can see more snakes, especially in an area where there's a lot. I mean, I would maybe. Let's see. I was down in.
I mean, potentially you can. I don't know if that's
But I mean, it's a lot harder. You're finding less when you're hiking, I think.
Of course. Yeah.
Potentially.
That's not.
But there are some species that you can't really find as easily road cruising. And so maybe you're going to find like maybe clobs,
Yeah.
We saw a ton of clobs. We never saw one on the road. Ruby saw a few, I guess. But oh my gosh. There's something out there. There's a snake in your backyard. You better go get that baby diamond python. Oh my gosh. Okay, mute button. There we go. So anyway, yeah, there there are some species that you're gonna find more of potentially on the road, and there's gonna be some that you're gonna find more in a hiking situation. So like we were in northern Idaho, or no, it was Washington, kind of a Washington-Oregon border. I was herping with Casey Lazick and Ryan Young and my son and my buddy Mike, and we were in this area, looking for mountain kings, and saw like a bunch of northern Pacific rattlesnakes, right? And so we hiked several of them. There were probably 4 or 5 that we saw on our hike. And then that night road cruising, we saw probably 30. They were just everywhere. We're like, it's another, NORPAC, like, let's move on or whatever. We weren't really stopping to photograph every one of them, but there were a ton out there. So it was kind of cool. You see numbers sometimes, but it might just be all northern Pacific rattlesnakes. I don't remember seeing any other species. We may have seen,
and maybe some of that is just like about what the temps are like and what's on the move, or what what the conditions are like, or what's on the move. Yeah, for sure. And maybe that's correlated to, like, if you were hiking it, you would find that target species more readily, just as well as you would find it more readily road cruising, because it's out on the move, because the conditions are right,
Yep. And maybe if you could run at 40 miles an hour, or be able to observe as you go. Slacker. Hey, you said you couldn't keep up with me. If I can't run 40 miles an hour, neither can you. But you can.
Okay. Fine.
Maybe you'd see as many or something. But and the fact that the road is wide and flat and easy to see a snake on most of the time, and it's makes it detection's a lot simpler that way, right? Because when you're walking through habitat, you could be walking past plenty of cryptic reptiles that are not gonna give themselves away. They might just sit still and let you walk past
or you get to view them from a distance, like the chucks.
Yeah exactly.
You gotta they're there, but you gotta kind of see them before you walk up on them, because they're not gonna stay. So.
You're probably not going to road cruise a chuck. It's not going to be on the road. But I have seen several from the road. I was driving in St. George. Heidi was in a meeting, and so I was like, I'm going to go out herping. So it was kind of hot in the middle of the day, so I'm like, chuck walls are going to be out. And so I was driving to this spot, and along the way, I look up on the side of the hillside, and there's a couple chuck walls up on there. So I park the car on this busy street and hike up the hillside and go photograph these chuck walls. So, you know, there you can see stuff from the road, you know, as you're driving along, and so, you know, you can't.
Is that considered hiking or road cruising?
I think that's maybe road cruising, because you're seeing them while you're driving. You know, I remember.
But is it road cruising once you exit the vehicle? I would argue that once you exit the vehicle, it's no longer road cruising. That is hiking, my friend.
That's true. That's true. But you wouldn't have seen it if you weren't driving, right?
But every hike most people drive through. You don't have to walk to a hike to make it a hike.
That's true. That's
yeah.
True. So I guess that maybe falls in both categories. You're just scrapping for points now, but
I am. I'm angry that you took the side that I wanted, so I am going to squeeze this turnip. But that said, I'm done. Yeah. That was the last I had in me. That was it.
I remember
I held on to the very end.
We were in northern Australia going maybe 50 miles an hour down the road, and all of a sudden the call comes in on the walkie-talkie that Rob Roy McGinnis had spotted a frilled lizard up a tree, like on a tree, like probably 30 feet off the road, like on some random trees, like frilled. So we all, you know, pile out, and there was a frilled on this tree. I'm like, holy crap, how'd you spot that? That's pretty amazing. So yeah, I think I don't know. That's, you know, it's I kind of have a little bit of a knack for seeing lizards sitting on rocks, kind of out in the wilderness. That's a little special skill of mine, is spotting.
So you would say you're a hiker rather than a cruiser?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer to get out there, but I definitely recognize the benefits of road.
Oh, I mean, I like road cruising. I have a lot of fun road cruising. I enjoy. Yeah, I mean, but mind you, you have to keep it in context. We hiked all fucking day that day, and then we road cruise. So we got our fill, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it wasn't just like, it's not a one or the other for us.
Yeah, I don't think you should plan any trip just to road cruise or just to hike.
Exactly.
You might as well take advantage of both. And I think definitely some people prefer one over the other, and I don't know, I'm kind of split down the middle. I'm like
pretty split down the middle.
Yeah, I think
I agree.
It's a pretty effective way of finding a lot of stuff. Now, you know, photographing them in the dark is a challenge, and you know, but I guess you're having to do that if you're hiking in the night. But you know, and getting them into suitable habitat, you know, you're usually like photographing them on the side of the road, and you know, cars whipping past or potentially striking your vehicle or something. You know, it's or people stopping. Are you okay? You okay? You know,
no, we're just photographing snakes.
Yeah, exactly. Get them. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's some danger that way. I remember I was road cruising in Australia on a dirt road on the back roads, and I'm like, this idiot's coming right for me. Like, why is he on the wrong side of the road? I'm like, oh crap, I'm on the wrong side of the road. I had to swerve back over to the correct side of the road in Australia. Which
you were like, touche, sir.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I'm the idiot. Yeah. So that was, it could be dangerous if you're in a, And I mean, I think we learned from Nick and Ryan and
ice cream.
Who's the other ice cream? No, not that story.
Mark. Oh,
Nick and Ryan and
Casey,
Chris Salemi. They went on
Salemi,
a trip to Thailand, and they just assumed they'd rent a car at night, you know, and go out and road cruise. Oh, you need to listen to that NPR episode. It's pretty entertaining.
I haven't heard this.
But so they didn't, like, they had to find somebody to take them out, and like, you know, the vehicle they brought was crappy, and like they had to ride in the back of the truck or something, you know, and stand up and look for stuff, and so very less effective, you know. But you know, you just assume, oh, I'll just road cruise it. But yeah, if you don't speak the language, or they don't rent cars, or you know, that kind of thing, you might have a struggle, and so you might be forced to just hike in certain areas, or you know, if
and where were they for this?
Thailand.
Oh,
Yeah, if you
so
can
they
get
what did
somebody
they
to
get?
take you out and
They
do
were on
that.
the back of a tuk-tuk, like looking, like trying to find stuff.
I think it was
that's
a
hilarious.
proper truck, but the
Okay.
guy had borrowed it from his friend, and he didn't want to take it too far because it was something or other. You'll have
He
to listen to
borrowed
that
his
episode.
dad's car.
But I guess the moral of the story is they seem to spend a lot of time in the the other side of Thailand, in the bars and clubs.
Yep.
And,
Well,
so
that's a lot of
not
people
much of
think
a
that-
herb trip if
Yeah.
you're not out looking for herbs, but yeah. So I got a kind of a lot, and Nick completely forgot to bring a headlamp, and so he was like, so they gave him crap about that. It was pretty funny. Eric's like, you went on a herb trip and you didn't bring a headlamp? What is wrong with you? It was pretty good. But I guess he thought Ryan would have his back, and Ryan did have plenty of.
Of course he did.
headlamps, yeah. So yeah, good.
I
Times.
bet Nick brought his powerlifting gloves though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I
Never
remember
leaves
our
home without
sponsor.
those mutton powerlifting gloves.
Mutton powerlifting gloves. Get yours today.
A proud sponsor
of our
of
podcast.
Reptile Fight Club.
Well, if we beat a dead horse,
No, I
we
think
convinced
that horse,
everybody
yes.
to go road cruise and hike.
I think
Get
you
out
must
there
do
and
them
explore.
both.
Yeah. So I don't know. Put yourself out there, whether it's road cruising or hiking. Road cruising is very effective in the night, but it can be dangerous. Like it can be a little tedious or monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
You're just driving down a road, and if you've run out of things to say, or your co-pilot falls asleep and you end up hitting a desert king snake on accident because your co-pilot was asleep, that's the brakes, man. You don't want that to happen.
No, it wasn't the brakes.
So
It was the
make sure you have a
co-pilot.
good, awake co-pilot that can help you, alert you of snakes on the road.
I don't know who this co-pilot was, but I hope they're hanging their head in
I-
shame right now.
I will not mention them, but yes,
I know.
I hope that head is low.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't
me.
you. It wasn't you.
No,
But it was
I'm all
mutual
jacked
friend.
up on Red Bull when I ride with you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's good aspects in both. I think
I
I probably
agree.
prefer hiking, but I do enjoy a good road cruise.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I might go hit the roads tonight. See if I
Look
can
at
find
you.
something. Just a quick, 30-minute drive. See what I can see.
Nice.
That's the other nice thing is it makes it easy to get out there and herp. You don't really have much excuse not to drive around in a car. Although the price of gas can kind of put a damper
That
on
could be it. I would
Yeah,
say
road
that in
cruising
Southern
in Southern
California,
California.
that's a
Oh yeah,
consideration.
especially out in the middle of nowhere in the desert.
Yeah.
Like gas is like $7 a gallon. Yeah, that
Yep,
can.
they know
that
they
can
got
hurt.
your ass.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have any other options. So, well, good stuff.
Good stuff.
It's good to be back on. Thanks
It is
for
good to be
being
back
here.
on.
We got a guest next week, so that'll be fun.
That's what's up.
yeah.
I'm ready for a guest.
Yeah.
Be a good guest.
No, yeah, a return guest. So
A return
we
guest.
will reveal that next week. So,
Stay tuned.
all right. Well, thanks for listening. We appreciate it, and hopefully we didn't lose everybody while we took our little break, and we'll get you back, and you can enjoy listening to this episode. But I guess any cool stuff in the reptile world, like academically, or got any new books or anything like that?
I told you about what was going on in my life at the beginning of this podcast, and if that sounded anything like I know what the hell's going on in the reptile community right now, yeah. No, sorry, I don't really.
Yeah.
I assume you came prepared because I generally don't.
I didn't think about it until right now, so I'm not prepared either.
Thank you. I
know
needed
that
this pass.
There's a new episode of Morelia Python Radio that I'm anxious to listen to. It's Willie Philippek.
Oh, yeah.
I really like his views on things. He's a pretty bright guy, so that's fun to listen to him. So I'm excited to listen to that. I just saw that Eric released that today. So
Nice. I did see that.
gonna get on there and check that out. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I got a new field guide to the reptiles of Europe. Nipper, our old buddy Nipper, recommended that. So it's pretty cool.
It's not a
Some
book
pretty-
book, but not bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, once in a while you got to get a not a book book.
Yeah. All things in their place.
Yeah. So I don't know. Other than that, I've been kind of lazy on the herp front, I guess, as far as learning new things or looking up cool. Although my paper was published on antiviral treatment. Had I already talked about that?
I think you had mentioned it that I don't know if it had published
and out there. So
yeah, congratulations. That's good stuff.
Get a title for us, right?
Yeah.
Announce that here, but I believe you can access it free on Google Scholar. Let me see here.
I'm sure Justin would be happy to email you a copy if you just email him directly at his. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm happy to.
I'm sure you. I know
anybody who wants it. Yeah. Oh, is it not going to show up on here? There it is. So it's called In Vitro Characterization and Antiviral Susceptibility of Ophidian Serpentoviruses. And it's published in Microorganisms, the journal Microorganisms in 2023. And the lead author is Stephen Tillis. So you might recognize that name.
Congratulations, Dr. Tillis.
Yeah, so that was fun. And we're on there with...
they're on their bullshit.
Robert Ossoboff, Dr. Oz. So not Dr. Oz.
No, I know. I hope
go
and author a paper with Dr. Oz
from University of Florida. So
that would not be the best. That would not be the best thing for your career, is if people were to author medical papers with Dr. Oz.
Yeah, but it does look like there is a free link to the paper. Cool. So on Google Scholar. So you can check it out if you like. But yeah, we talked about our part of the study was looking at susceptibility of different serpentoviruses, or nidoviruses as they used to be called, to different antiviral drugs. So hopefully that's the kind of the first step in identifying something that might be able to treat our snakes that have nidovirus. So hopefully we can keep the ball rolling and get some other studies funded to further see if that has efficacy in animals, because right now it's just in cell culture that we have that information.
What's it cost to get another study done?
A couple tens of thousands of dollars, I think. So
okay,
if we could get some more crowd-funded, we could maybe do another study or two. But I don't know if the University of Florida lab has an animal model, like an infection model. That's probably what the next step would be, is to experimentally infect some animals and then treat them with these antivirals. And, it might be good if we could set that up. But I talked to our animal facility guy, and he was amenable to it. So it would just require purchasing the caging and having a lab dedicated to it, and that requires a lot more than
that's
unfortunately.
But I mean, I feel like a guy like you might be able to pull those strings.
Yeah, right? the new biology building, they renovated it, and they have this impressive herp lab. It's really nice, and
can Dr. Doolander do a guest tour or what, man? Let's go.
I did tour it, but I don't know if we could do infection studies over there. That's the only, and I don't know if they'd want an infectious, reptile virus in their colony.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but they have housed animals, reptiles, over at the same place that we do our antiviral studies in rodents, and so it's a possibility. I just need to look into it a little more. But if there was some funding that we could get through the reptile community, that might be a way to push that forward, and it would be in kind of in the interest of the reptile keepers in general to have those options to treat their animals, or at least tell the vet this works against this virus.
Yeah, sure. And so, I mean, these more tools for the toolbox.
Yeah, but you do need that kind of. You can't just say, okay, I've got a snake with nido, I'm going to treat it and see what happens, because that's not really fulfilling Koch's postulate. It's giving some information, but that's something I probably want to chat about on this podcast at some point. How to design a proper study and get usable data and things like that. But
nerd stuff.
Yeah, nerd stuff.
Stats.
All right. Well, thanks to Morelia Python Radio for hosting us, and the Podfather for doing all the work. I'm looking forward to Carpet Fest, August 12th, man. It's coming up, so I'm excited to get out there and see it in person, go to the OG Carpet Fest. So I don't know, it should be a pretty good gathering this year. It's too bad can't make it out, man. That would have been a fun party. So
I got too much shit going on.
Yeah.
I got too much shit going on.
I'm excited to take a look around Pennsylvania, see if I can find a snake or two, add some more species to the list, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So should be cool. I was thinking it was taking forever to get here, but we're all of a sudden in the middle of July, and it's just another.
That's why I can't go, because this fucking year's flying by, and I got stuff I got to do for work. So
yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. But maybe down the road we can make it.
No, for sure. I'm biding my time for another trip.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're on the fence. It should be really a good time out there. So you gotta make it out. August 12th. I think that's the right date.
I hope so,
because I think I'm flying that time.
That'd be the wrong. Show up the wrong day. Eric's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
I think me and Rob are on the same flight. So
nice.
If Rob's going at that time.
Yeah, if you search the plane frantically and don't see Rob, then check your date.
Wait a second. Yeah. Now we're on Frontier Airlines, so hopefully we actually make it. But
what's wrong?
Changed our flight once already.
Oh,
they're one of those kind of nickel and dime. Like they have the little fares, but then you can't bring a carry-on.
Kind of jerked around in different ways.
Yeah. There's no food or drinks, or it's like, it's a little interesting, but should be a good time. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else to announce? The Gecko Symposium at Tinley this year, and the October Tinley show. Check that out if you're interested in geckos. That should be a good one.
I think we just had Anaheim
Thursday before Tinley. Oh yeah, that was
last
had
week.
Spencer's. The Sim guys had Spencer's monitors at Anaheim, the Super Show, right? Did you go?
I think so. No, I didn't go.
Oh. Yes, Noah and Lisa were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our last guests on the podcast. They I think that was the first time they've met in person, even though they live pretty close to each other.
Close to each other
in California. Yeah, they met up at the show and had a nice little photo op together. So so good stuff. But yeah, I wish I could have seen some Spencer's monitors. They're cool.
Yeah,
I've
pretty
seen
cool.
them in Australia, but I don't think I've seen them over here. They're a really cool species. All right, well, thanks for listening. We'll hopefully fight again here soon next week. We'll see you later.
We're back, and crack is still whack.
Fight Club.